Lately, there have been viral video essays claiming that dollar stores are scamming the poor with a clever packaging trick. Their math is right, but their conclusion is completely wrong. Today, we are flipping the script and looking at the dollar store empire through the lens of those who don't have the privilege of buying in bulk. You've probably seen the viral breakdowns they use to make their point. A tiny 2-ounce carton of Pepperidge Farm goldfish crackers selling for $1.25 at Dollar Tree, translating to roughly 63 cents an ounce. Meanwhile, a massive 30-ounce carton at Target sits at $9, coming out to about 30 cents an ounce. Look, the critics cry, waving their spreadsheets. The poor are paying double. The dollar store is a poverty tax in disguise. It sounds devastating. It makes for fantastic righteous indignation videos. But when you run the real numbers, not just the per-ounce math, but the math of human cash flow, geography, and consumer psychology, a very different picture emerges. Dollar stores aren't destroying retail. They are the shock absorbers of a financial system that has utterly failed the bottom 40% of households. Let's start right there with the goldfish crackers. Is the 30-ounce carton at Target a better deal on paper? Objectively, mathematically, undeniably. Yes, if you have a stable income, a reliable savings account, a spacious pantry, and a credit card with a healthy limit, buying in bulk is always the rational economic choice. Costco exists for a reason. Buying a gallon of olive oil or a giant box of cereal lowers your long-term cost per unit. But what happens when you remove those four privileges? Let's talk about working capital. According to financial health data across the United States, a staggering percentage of households run out of liquid cash before the end of the month. Imagine it's Tuesday. Payday isn't until Friday. You have exactly $15 left in your checking account to cover dinner tonight, household cleaning supplies, and your morning commute. You walk down the aisle. You see the 30-ounce box of crackers at the big box store for $9. It is, by all financial metrics, a superior deal. But if you spend $9 on a box of crackers, you have $6 left for the next 3 days. You cannot buy milk. You cannot buy toilet paper. You cannot put gas in your car to get to work. The 2-ounce carton for $1.25 isn't a ripoff. It is a financial instrument. It is a tool for liquidity management. You are paying a premium per ounce, yes, but you are buying flexibility. You are paying for the right to spend less absolute dollars today so you survive tomorrow. To call that exploitation is to fundamentally misunderstand the tightrope walk of low-income budgeting. Dollar stores don't force people into small packages. They accommodate the brutal reality of small bank accounts. Critics love to ask, why don't these shoppers just drive to Walmart or Costco and buy in bulk? Let's look at the map. Walmart and Target are macroeconomic engines. They require massive population density, vast parking lots, and heavy customer throughput to sustain their enormous footprints. A Walmart supercenter needs an entire county's worth of shoppers just to keep the lights on. Because of this, they build in central hubs, leaving vast swaths of rural America and dense urban pockets, stranded miles away from a traditional supermarket. Enter the dollar store. With a footprint of roughly 400 square feet, about 1/10 the size of a supercenter, and a skeleton crew of just 2 to 3 employees running the floor, a dollar store can plant its flag where big box retail fears to tread. Today, over 75% of all Americans live within a 5-mile radius of a Dollar General. In thousands of small towns across America, the dollar store isn't an alternative to the supermarket. It is the only store left standing. Now, let's run a different kind of math. Imagine you live in a town of 200 people. The nearest Walmart is 20 miles away. That's a 40-minute round trip. At current federal mileage reimbursement rates and fuel prices, that trip costs you $8 to $10 in gas alone, not to mention an hour of your time. If you drive 40 minutes round trip to save $2 on a box of cereal, you have just lost money. The critics calculate the goldfish math, but they completely ignore the gas math. For millions of rural and low-income families, the dollar store's proximity is its true value proposition. It eliminates transportation costs, saves precious time for hourly workers who don't have paid leave, and keeps basic retail within walking or short driving distance. Closeness is a utility, and utilities cost money. Another common critique focuses on value engineering, how dollar store buyers work backward with manufacturing giants like Kraft Heinz to create smaller packages, slightly thinner plastic bottles, or custom bundle sizes that fit a strict price point, traditionally $1, now stretching to $1.25, $3, or $5. Critics frame this as corporate deception, as if companies are sneaking smaller products onto shelves to trick an unsuspecting public. Let's be completely honest. Consumers aren't stupid. They know the bag is smaller. When a shopper picks up a pack of 5 batteries instead of 8, or a slightly smaller bar of soap, they can see it with their eyes. They aren't being hoodwinked by optical illusions. They are making a conscious choice based on a fixed budget. More importantly, look at what a fixed price tag does to the psychological burden of shopping. A traditional supermarket carries over 30,000 distinct items, with fluctuating prices, complex discount tags, buy two, get one 50% off with loyalty card, and endless choices that induce decision fatigue. A dollar store strips away the math entirely. The price is fixed. You don't need a calculator, a loyalty app, or a coupon clipper. You know exactly what things cost before you touch them. In a life filled with financial stress, predictability is an underrated luxury. Defending the utility of the dollar store is not the same as saying their business model is flawless. Far from it. When you run a machine this lean, things inevitably start slipping through the cracks. The secret sauce of Dollar General's profitability has always been its brutally low labor costs. You walk into a 400 square foot metal box, and you might only see 2 employees. One is unloading boxes in the back. The other is bouncing between the register and stocking shelves. On a spreadsheet in a corporate office, a skeleton crew looks like peak efficiency. In the real world, it's a security nightmare. In 2024, Dollar General lost an eye-watering $928 million to what the retail industry politely calls shrink. Goods lost to theft, damage, and scanning errors. To put that into perspective, the company's entire net income for that year was roughly $1.1 billion. The merchandise vanishing out the front door equaled over 80% of their actual profit. Think about that for a second. How does a company lose nearly $1 billion in cheap merchandise? The answer lies in an attempt to automate poverty. To save even more on labor, dollar stores aggressively rolled out self-checkout kiosks. But here's the harsh reality of retail. 2 overworked employees cannot monitor 6 aisles of merchandise and a bank of self-checkout machines simultaneously. The leak wasn't coming from professional crime rings. It was coming from regular customers sliding items past scanners. The losses were so devastating that Dollar General had to do something almost unheard of in modern corporate America. They admitted automation failed. They ripped self-checkout kiosks out of roughly 12 stores and put human cashiers back behind the registers. The losses started falling almost immediately. It's a profound lesson in the limits of extreme cost-cutting. Sometimes, the cheapest way to run a store is actually to pay a human being a wage to stand there and watch the door. If Dollar General's stumble was operational, Dollar Tree's disaster was structural. And it cost 15 times more. In 2015, the 2 titans of the industry, Dollar Tree and Dollar General, got into a fierce bidding war over Family Dollar, a chain with roughly 8,000 locations heavily concentrated in dense urban centers. Dollar Tree won, shelling out roughly $8.5 billion. On paper, Wall Street cheered. It looked like the ultimate retail monopoly, the king of the suburban fixed-price dollar store, Dollar Tree, joining forces with the king of the urban discount market, Family Dollar. In practice, it was a decade of absolute misery. The companies learned a brutal lesson. You cannot copy-paste a rural strategy into an urban environment. The store networks overlapped, cannibalizing each other's sales. The urban locations faced higher real estate costs, entirely different customer behaviors, and massive logistical hurdles. The brand deteriorated. Facilities fell into disrepair, culminating in a horrific scandal where a Family Dollar distribution center was found infested with over 1,000 rodents, leading to massive FDA recalls, store shutdowns, and record-breaking food safety fines. It became the ultimate business school case study in how not to execute a merger. Finally, in the summer of 2025, Dollar Tree surrendered. They offloaded Family Dollar to private investment firms for about $1 billion. They bought it for $8.5 billion. They sold it for $1 billion. That is roughly 12 cents on the dollar. The lesson here is critical for any business analyst. The dollar store machine is a highly specialized instrument. It only works when it is run exactly the way it was designed: small, tight, cheap, and off the beaten path. The moment it tried to get big, complex, and urban, it bled out. But despite the theft, despite the botched mergers, despite the municipal bans where small towns are literally paying lawyers to keep Dollar Generals out, the industry continues to grow. And the reason why reveals a deeply uncomfortable truth about the American economy. For decades, the dollar store was built for the customer who runs out of money before the month ends. The industry's quiet superpower was that it grew the fastest when the economy hurt the most. But look at the data from 2026. Dollar General recently reported that its fastest-growing demographic of new customers is households earning more than $100,000 a year. Yes, you read that right. 6-figure families are now walking the aisles, filling their baskets right next to the minimum wage workers the stores were originally built for. Why? Because inflation is a great equalizer. When housing costs, car payments, and grocery bills skyrocket, even the middle class starts to feel poor. And when the middle class feels poor, they shop where the poor have always shopped. This is the strangest, most resilient property of the dollar store business model. It grows on the way down, when its core customers have nowhere else to go. And it grows on the way up, when everyone else is forced to trade down to join them. There is almost no economic climate where the dollar store actually loses. Wall Street knows this. It's why dollar store stocks are traditionally treated as a recession hedge, the asset you buy when everything else in the economy looks terrifying. Misery, it turns out, is a fantastic tailwind. So let's bring it all back to that initial accusation. Are dollar stores ripping off the poor by charging more per ounce for a tiny bag of goldfish crackers? No. Buying in bulk has always been a privilege reserved for those with money. Buying small has always been a penalty for those without it. Dollar stores didn't invent this rule. They just built 37,000 metal boxes on top of it. They sell smallness at a premium to people for whom small is the only size that fits the reality of their paycheck. They plant cheap boxes in forgotten towns that Walmart abandoned. They strip the exhausting math out of shopping by fixing the price tag. They aren't the villains of the American economy. They are a mirror reflecting exactly what the American economy has become. A system where millions of people are living week to week, dollar to dollar, relying on a deeply flawed yet absolutely essential retail machine just to survive until Friday. What do you think? After looking at the gas math, the cash flow realities, and the fact that even six-figure earners are now hunting for bargains in these aisles, has your perspective changed? Are dollar stores a symptom of a broken economy, or are they a brilliant business adapting to harsh realities? Let me know down in the comments. I read every single one, and some of the best debates happen right there. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more content that flips the script on conventional business narratives, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss our next breakdown. If you found this valuable, share it with a friend who still thinks Costco is the only way to shop. Until next time, keep questioning the narrative. See you in the next one.